Hollywood writer-director Joss Whedon has been under fire for quite some time based on his treatment of some of his actors, specifically the allegations from Ray Fisher from his time as the replacement director on Justice League. Gal Gadot also had some allegations in there. It sounded like Jason Momoa was also backing him up, but there's also been a plethora of other allegations about Joss Whedon's behavior, essentially as a Hollywood powerhouse over the years. And he has finally, at least a little bit, responded to some of these allegations, and I'm going to be bottom line up front with you. It does not look good for him. He comes off as, well, basically kind of a piece of shit. So he responded to the Ray Fisher, Gal Gadot, and Charisma Carpenter allegations, specifically Charisma Carpenter from the time on Buffy the Vampire Slayer. This information is coming from a profile published Monday from the New York Magazine, and Whedon finally responded to these allegations. Whedon was the director that ended up replacing Zack Snyder on Justice League when, unfortunately, Zack Snyder lost his daughter. It did not go well. Justice League was, you know, an enormous train wreck. There's a lot of regret in it, and I think one of the biggest regret probably from Warner Brothers was bringing in Joss Whedon himself. Obviously, he was riding high off of the success of the Avengers, like the first really big blockbuster crossover, you know, superhero movie. It broke records. It was beloved. I mean, there was a time with Joss Whedon between Buffy, Firefly, Dollhouse. He had all these, you know, cool kind of indie kind of projects. Obviously, he's moved up more to the big time, but his career is essentially in free fall right now. I don't think anybody wants to touch Joss Whedon with a 10-foot pole, let alone give him a gig directing or writing something in Hollywood. All the negative press that Joss Whedon has received as of late really started with Ray Fisher, who played Cyborg, obviously, on the film, and accused Whedon of abusive, unprofessional behavior on the set of Justice League. In an interview with Hollywood Reporter in April 2021, Fisher recalled feeling he had to explain some of the most basic points of what would be offensive to the Black community. That was one of the allegations he laid out. One thing Fisher really hasn't done is provide a whole lot of detail. He's provided some very vague allegations of abuse on set and whatnot, not only against Fisher, but there were others involved, including Jeff Johns, of course, of DC Comics fame. But he really hasn't gotten into the nitty-gritty, you know, details of all this, so it's been really hard to discern or determine what's real and what's not. One thing I think everyone can really agree on is Joss Whedon seems like he's kind of a bad person. Once you see so many allegations, where there's smoke, there's fire, and it's difficult not to believe Ray Fisher, at least with the Joss Whedon stuff. And of course, Aquaman star Jason Momoa did back up Fisher's story, at least to a degree. And Wonder Woman star Gal Gadot also said that they felt like her career was threatened by Joss Whedon as well. I'm going to list off the allegations from them individually. I'm going to tell you what Joss Whedon had to say about it, and I'm going to have opinion, you know, pretty much on all these. As far as the Ray Fisher allegations of abuse on set of Justice League, Whedon specifically addressed the diminished role Fisher's Victor Stone Cyborg played in the Justice League film. This is what Joss Whedon had to say. We're talking about a malevolent force. We're talking about a bad actor in both senses. So not only is he saying he was a bad actor and that's why we diminished the role, but he's also saying his accusations are essentially in bad faith and he's been a bad actor in all this. And there's no validity to the claims that Ray Fisher has set out. And to be completely honest with you, because of the lack of detail that we receive, it's just general accusations of abuse, that he thought his career was threatened and other things of that nature. It would be kind of easy, maybe not to fully believe Joss Whedon's assertion that he's a bad actor in both senses. He's just a bad actor, period, and he's acting in bad faith here. But because we do have Jason Momoa backing this up, Gal Gadot having their own accusations, and the plethora of other accusations against Whedon from actors he's worked with in the past, this seems, I don't know, it seems like douchey behavior. If you can't deny the allegations outright, don't say anything. This is him essentially hitting him below the belt, saying he's not even a good actor, trying to diminish Ray Fisher and who he is and whether or not you should even listen to him based on his ability to act in the film. Whether you believe he was good in the film or not, me personally, the Joss Whedon cut is terrible. The cyborg portion is easily the best part, in my opinion. I was shocked that that was the character that they somehow got right in that film. In the extended Snyder cut, most people liked his acting and his portrayal of Cyborg in that film as well. They liked it even more. So I think this is taking the low road. He's not addressing the real issues here. He's just taking pot shots, and I think that's a douchey look on Whedon's part. Now, as far as Gal Gadot, this is even worse in my opinion, because he's trying to say that she's stupid, and I don't think it's a good look for Joss Whedon. So he also denies Gadot's claim that he threatened her career, saying English is not her first language, and I tend to be annoyingly flowery in my speech. And apparently he made a joke about how she'd have to tie his body to a train track to have that scene cut for the film. And then there was the second part of this quote. Then I was told that I had said something about her dead body and tying her to a railroad track. Essentially saying Gal Gadot was too stupid to understand English. She's Israeli, right? She's not even an American citizen. People in Israel don't speak English. They speak Hebrew. I've actually met a lot of people from Israel, and I can tell you from firsthand experience, they speak English very, very well, and they understand it very, very well. And Gal Gadot did not appreciate that because the New York magazine did reach out to her. This is what Gal Gadot had to say about his versions of the events. Gal Gadot said in an email, I understood perfectly. Basically saying, no, I'm not stupid. I understand English, and I understand fully what he was trying to say, what he was going to do to my career. This is him not only calling Gal Gadot stupid, but essentially deflecting. He never addresses whether or not he threatened her career. He's talking about something else where she just misunderstood a joke. Well, if she couldn't understand a joke, she probably couldn't understand when I was talking to her about threatening her career. Obviously, Gal Gadot is not having that. And this is, like I said, it's even worse than the Ray Fisher stuff because he's calling someone stupid that clearly understands and speaks English. They communicate in English probably on a day-to-day basis. Once again, taking the low road on that one, not surprising, it is Joss Whedon. As far as the claims by Charisma Carpenter, these claims came out in an interview in February 2021. Apparently, when Whedon found out she was pregnant while filming Buffy the Vampire Slayer, he asked her if she was going to keep it. And she claims that he manipulatively weaponized my womanhood and faith against me. Speaking to the New York, this is what Whedon had to say. I was not mannerly. Most of my experiences with Charisma were delightful and charming. She struggled sometimes with her lines, but nobody could hit a punchline quite like her. This one's really, really strange to me. So she's saying that he was trying to be manipulative and asking if she should keep the baby. And he's saying, well, you know, I was rude about it. I wasn't mannerly. I was insinuating that this woman should have an abortion, which apparently goes against her faith and her beliefs. But I just was rude about it. You can't make this stuff up. And he tries to back it up this time with a compliment because you can tell he can see. He realizes there's no real way to talk himself out of this accusation. It's just, it's gross behavior. It's really gross behavior across the board. It is very manipulative, what he's saying about Ray Fisher. It's not that I was abusive on set. It's that he couldn't act. And he's just a bad faith person to begin with. Gal Gadot, I never threatened her career. She doesn't understand English. She's Israeli. They don't even speak English. And then with Charisma Carpenter claiming that he insinuated that she should have an abortion. You know, she wanted to work on Buffy the Vampire Slayer. I wasn't mannerly, just was rude about it. Very, very manipulative language and characterization, really on Joss Whedon. I don't know what he was thinking giving this interview, but it does nothing for him. This only makes him look worse and really only provides credence behind the allegations of Ray Fisher, Gal Gadot, Charisma Carpenter, and others that have been levied at Joss Whedon over the years. He's a scumbag. I think he outed himself. I mean, we all kind of knew that to begin with, but really with these quotes that are in this article, he confirms, yes, I am in fact a scumbag. I will try to manipulate women into getting abortions and then just say that I wasn't charming about it. If I threaten your career or you feel that way, you just don't understand English. And if you think I was abusive on set, that just means you can't act. And that was the real problem all along. Joss Whedon is a scumbag. He probably should have done these quotes. It does nothing for him. And I don't see anyone in Hollywood giving this dude a fucking dime or a minute of their time to do anything, which is shocking when you look at the track record of success that he's had on television. Obviously in the big screen, he's written a lot of movies you probably don't even realize have been successful in the past. But shit like this, these quotes, these allegations, and the way that he's responded to them, he ain't making anything anytime soon. The dude should own up to his mistakes, and he really should apologize to these people and see if he can make things right. People love a redemption story. People really want to forgive. But when you give quotes like these and you make yourself look like a complete condescending asshole, it's game over. No one's going to forgive you. Joss Whedon isn't the only person in the entertainment industry that was accused of wrongdoing this week. Robert Kirkman, creator of The Walking Dead and Invincible, you'll know them from the AMC and Amazon shows, was once again accused by his co-creator of basically stiffing them out of money. If you have not heard this story, it's too crazy to believe. It's right here. If you haven't seen it, you're definitely going to want to check out this video as well.